podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me.
You are now tuned into the Boxing Voice Radio. Join us every Thursday and Sunday, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes. Welcome back to another Untitled episode of Untitled, where we just sit back, relax, and just talk. We just chit chat. But it looks like this particular episode is going to take a more of a boxing approach with a twist.
I thought it was Untitled for a reason. I thought it was Untitled meant like, hey, we chill it out, you know what I'm saying? We talk about movies, music, the latest and greatest. Now you want to go with the back stuff, but that's all good. Let's go get them.
Oh, no, it ain't even me, B.
Ooh,
this is the voice of the people. I'm trying to follow you and be responsible. So early yesterday, I posted the Patreon post for topics and questions and what people, wanted to hear on this particular show. So I'm pulling that up so we could get right to business. Mario will be joining us around 1 o'clock. And since we're talking about Patreon and its posts, don't forget to head on over to the Tony Harrison. Ask Tony Harrison a question, since we'll be having him at 3 p.m. Eastern. So from the Untitled topics and questions, Patreon only posts, we got a lot of responses, 21 to be exact, Mike. And
again, thank you for all the Patreon support, man. We really do appreciate it. All you guys don't know how much this goes to help out us on like just covering boxing trips, cam life, all that, man. So you guys, money would not be wasted. I guarantee you that.
So obviously we get the title and the direction of the show from these questions. There's about 21 of them. And I'm going to leave Naja's question for you to be the first one to talk about, because that's your boo. And she's the one that actually made the title, right? She put, let's get personal. That was the beginning of her question. And then I believe it was Jay Hardcore, possibly, right? Or Eric Cruz in Texas that said, what's the best fight you ever attended? So we went with those as the title, but there are over a dozen questions. So before we get into those, we'll start as we always do. For those just listening, this is Untitled, where we don't necessarily just talk boxing, talk about just about everything under the sun, regardless of topic. And yeah, Mike, so how's it been? I mean, it's New Year. I was about to say New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve. How much does that mean to you? Since Naja wants to get personal, even though her question is specific, but I'm going to save that one for later to give the show that great twist that it, so rightfully needs. Patreon only. I'm telling you, once this question comes out and we start talking about this on the live show, people are going to be signing up just to hear Mike's thoughts on Naja's question.
I don't see no questions, but okay, I see one now. But my thing about Christmas is I'm not really a big holiday guy. I'm not even big on my birthday, so holiday just like another day to me. It is what it is. It means more for my daughter, and maybe since I had a daughter, I've been more I guess more festive and in a holiday spirit. But before that, man, I ain't have no holiday spirit. You can ask anybody I know.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a Grinch myself. I feel like all of these holidays are, government employees to suck money out of us, bro. I mean, I wish a Santa existed. Like I said, you see my daughter's fucking Christmas list. She wanted an iPad Pro. That's $1,000 iPad. Like, where's Santa at when you need him? Because I know I ain't getting no fucking $1,000 iPad. You know what I'm saying? So
that iPad Pro, I was like, damn, $1,000, man. That shit is crazy. How much shit costs nowadays?
Dude, you telling me? It's difficult. I mean, in this generation, for instance, I have an 11-year-old and an 18-year-old, so the age there is a huge gap. But for an 11-year-old, you still got to spend a significant amount, very close to what you're going to spend on an 18-year-old, just because how much shit costs these days. I mean, she didn't ask for anything cheap.
Yeah, I've seen that list. Now I just hate to see the day when my daughter get 11, 12 years old, start asking for that shit. I'm gonna be like, man, look at here. Uh, I might put it on layaway in goddamn me January or something, and buy that bitch in goddamn me December. You feel me? But I'm just saying, oh man, yeah. Christmas is all about my daughter, and I send my niece and nephew some money. That's what they normally want, and maybe every now and again I'll send my brother and sister like a shirt or a hat. But I really don't look for anything much from anybody. I'm not big on holidays, and
Yo, I'm with David C, man. Mike over here telling us he's not festive. Meanwhile, he's been wearing a Santa Claus get up for the whole month of December. Like what?
the whole month or like the past 2 weeks. But again, I wasn't like this. I have a daughter now, so like when I FaceTime, I like me and my daughter don't live in the same state. So when I FaceTime her, I want her to be like, oh look at my dad. He's what I'm saying. I just want her to be happy. Like no, even though she's gonna be happy when she talks to me, but I just want to like surprise her by like doing certain small stuff to make her feel good.
But I'm just gonna get real weird right now. But you are influencing her to believe in something that you yourself don't believe in.
No, I'm not influenced or doing anything. I'm just being holiday spirit. She knows where the money comes from. She man, boy, since she was born. Ain't no damn me Santa Claus, homie. I let her know that this is all costume, is all get up. She don't believe in no goddamn Santa Claus, but she knows daddy buy everything. Daddy gonna buy a present.
Santa out here taking the credit for shit, Mike.
Yeah, I don't take credit for nothing. She's like, oh, dad, I see your ass. I see you, dad. Yeah, come on with that money though.
Oh man. All right. So let's take it from the top. We got one coming from Brandon Maurice. He says, let's talk about how the term robbery is way too overused in boxing.
Yeah, man, robbery is overly used in boxing. I think over the weekend, people got to really start understanding what a robbery is, and you got to be able
What's a
to.
robbery? What's a robbery in your opinion?
Kevin Farmer on HBO, his last fight on HBO against that Japanese guy, where he clearly beat that guy ass. They gave it to that guy. That's a robbery. Um, that fucking WBSS fight when Alhamdi fought somebody and they gave it to the Russian super middleweight. That's a robbery. I can't remember off the top of my head, but those are like robberies to me. Over the weekend, what happened between Tony Harrison and Jamel Charlo? Far from a robbery. Far from a robbery. I scored it live 6-6, so 7-5 either way cannot be argumented on that. Another thing that I want to say is fans have a subjective preference. Period. They like who they like, and they like what they like what they want to see as far as a boxing style. Just because you're coming forward and you're presenting action doesn't mean that your aggression is necessarily effective.
Man, what is a robbery for me? I mean, I think the only way that I can explain it is when it's obvious, when there isn't two sides, and I don't really think that's ever quite possible. I just think that boxing is so subjective. We've seen Jamel go from the Tony Harrison boxing to the Triple G style of boxing. And that's when the scoring could get a bit difficult because you just don't know what each particular judge is looking for. It's subjective. Like some days, depending on how the fight looks, I might like a Triple G style of fighter who's coming forward making the fight. If he's landing effectively and the guy that's on the back foot and throwing the jabs isn't getting away, he's being cut off. But this weekend, we got to see a lot of people able to get out of the corners. Carlos Negron, Korobov, Harrison. These men were able to pivot and use the ropes to bounce and sneak out of corners. You know, that was something that Triple G did great, that I hope he passes down to somebody. You know, he was always able to cut the ring off well. So, yeah, the term gets overused. Absolutely, Brandon. Absolutely.
Yeah, Triple G was able to cut the ring off except when he fought Canelo.
Now, Oliver has 4. So I'm going to skip him, go to someone else, and then read and pick one, right? Because he's got 4 here.
Hardcore Boxing, Jay Hardcore, what's going on? What's your feelings on Charlos? And once they got to the elite level of fights, how do you think they'll fend? I like Charlos, man. I just think like sometimes like in basketball, football, man, you have off nights, and maybe Jamel had an off night, which caused Jamal to have a off night, and like I just think that Southpaw too with Jamal. You know, we know that he had trouble with Trout back in the day. So southpaws are tricky for anybody. But I don't think any less of the Charlos than I thought about him last week. I still think Jamel is possibly the second best 154 out there, maybe the first best. And also I think Jamal Charlo is the best at 160. No matter if he fought the high level of competition or not, I think he's my eye test tells me that he's better than everybody except Canelo. I think Canelo and him is a 50-50 fight.
I'm different, man. And Oliver, I found the perfect question you put in there. I love it. I'm going to get to it after Jay Hardcore. Just to reiterate, says, what's your feelings on the Charlos? And once they get to the elite level of fights, how do you think they'll fend? I think that it has to be seen. You know, Jermell has shown ups and downs, right? John Jackson. But we're starting to see a pattern. We're starting to see that boxers give him issues, even though he's a boxer. When he was fighting John Jackson, he was under Ronnie Shields and he was a boxer. I believe he was still with Ronnie Shields. Someone can double check it. But the point is, he was still more of a boxer. He wasn't this come for a knockout dude, but then he got to come from behind knockout, which had him believing, oh, I'm as strong as my brother. And things started to change from there, I believe. But he's always been a boxer. You watch him versus Rosado, you know, Josine Alcine, you know, Charles Ota, you know, just numerous dudes. He's always been the boxer. He's changing that now under Derrick James, is my opinion. He's coming forward. He's looking more and more like Earl Spence. And that's good. He's just got to master it. I think it's going to take some time. But it's always difficult to tell how these fights will play out on the elite level. You know, only one guy that makes it always look easy is Anthony Joshua. He's fought the top guys over and over and made it look easy. Here and there, he might have some sort of hiccup, but
I mean, he got knocked down by Klitschko.
Yeah, okay, and that's not. You know,
that wasn't an easy win though.
That's one fight though. That's one.
I mean, you said the high level competition though. Klitschko was is a high level. Klitschko, Parker, Povetkin.
I understand.
And White hurt him too.
I'm going more about like top 5. This dude's been fighting top 10 opposition and handling them like he's a heavy favorite. You know, it ain't looking like that for other heavyweights. That's just the bottom line. I mean, Big Baby, yeah, but Big Baby ain't got this level of opposition. You know, not for Dillian White. He's struggling in his fights, coming back from behind, winning on multiple occasions. You know what I'm saying? He's draped over the ropes. So it's like Joshua is having less hiccups than most. You know, a hiccup to Joshua is that he went 12 with a fighter that we thought he'd knock him out, but he still won all 12. So again, we just don't know till you're on that level. Because look at Deontay. We thought he was going to blow Ortiz out, and Ortiz gave him the best fight of his life. Then again, we thought he was going to knock out Tyson, and Tyson gave him the second best fight of his life, or the best fight of his life, or the lesson of his life. You know what I'm saying? So you just never know till these fights happen. Look, we thought Harrison was a cherry pick, a tune-up, and he went out there and became a world champion. So boxing is so much different than all the other sports. That's why I don't fuck with the other sports. But we're going to go to Oliver's beautiful question. And Oliver's from Bermuda. For the sake of boxing as a whole, what can American fans learn from UK fans? And what can UK fans learn from American fans? For me, it's simple. American fans can learn from the UK fans to love their fighters blindly, but not suicidal the way that some of these UK fans get behind their fighters. They don't give a fuck, right? But we need to take a page out of that book and adapt that same love for the sport and for our fighters. And his second part is, what do the UK fans learn from us? What they can learn from us is how to sniff out bullshit. How to tell when Eddie's lying, how to tell when someone's ducking, how to not always fall in love with the domestic fight just because it's going to be a burn up. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes these fights don't need to happen. That's what they can learn. And together we make a magnificent fan, but I think that the UK fans can learn how to call bullshit more. Be more straightforward. Tell Eddie, tell AJ, tell whoever, the media, whatever, when something's bullshit instead of accepting it because it's a good domestic level burn up. They'll make a couple of dollars here and there's, let them make money, Niz.
My thing is for the UK is just stop being so sensitive about things, Some of you guys over there take.
Well, what can they learn from American fans?
I know. Vice versa. What can they learn from us, and what can we learn from them? I read Oliver's question. I mean, it was the best. Well, his best question that he posted was the one about the UK and the US. But the UK can learn how to be not so sensitive, man, and stop being so attached to these fighters. Like over here in America, I mean, certain guys might like certain fighters, but at the end of the day, if the guy loses, it's not like we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, be a distraught. We might be upset for a day or two, but after that, it is what it is. It's boxing. It's a sport, and it just people got to lose. And what we can learn from the UK is how to be passionate, how to put boxing towards the forefront, how to have boxing on a level where everybody is clamoring inside of a big stadium and excited to see a world title fight, no matter who it is. Like, no matter if it's AJ fighting or fucking Charlie Edwards fighting, they're out there singing "Sweet Caroline." They're out there loud. They're out there drinking. And they're out there supporting. Nobody's leaving early. Nobody's trying to go back out and come back in. They're all in there and they're supporting the fight. So that's what we can learn from the UK.
At this time, I would like Naja to call in. Maybe we can do your question live and also explain this. Maybe you need to be honest with Wilder comment, because I don't get that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was super honest with Wilder when I told him to take the Dillian White fight, when I told him to take short money for the AJ fight. I always think logically, you know what I mean? Just like anyone, we get tired of this long, drawn-out wait. We're going to Jose Garcia. Let's talk about Jermall Charlo. Struggled with a top 15, a week notice, and yet he wants to fight Canelo, Triple G, or Jacobs. At this point, it's about money for him because he's not beating any of the top 360 pounders. Go first.
That was from I seen the question. Let me make sure. Jose, I don't agree with that, man. I believe the Southpaw has a big deal to reason why he struggled, and the guy wasn't like a 160 guy. I mean, he started at 175, 168, then down 160, and I just think Jamal Charlo did it what he exactly needed to do Saturday night, was look vulnerable enough to make the other top 160 want to fight you at the end of the day. I can't sit here and say that I know for sure that Jamal is going to beat all of them, but I'm going to pick him versus all of them. And I have enough faith in Jamal that he will get the victory over Danny Jacobs and Triple G. But the Canelo fight, I have to say, is a 50-50 fight. And I just think Jamal is what we thought he was, and he is going to be what I think he's going to be, and that's a 3 division world champion.
Mario, what's up? Listen, outside of the shock value of Daniel Jacobs surprising us all this week and making an announcement that he's signing back with PBC, is there an upside there, or should he logically sign with DAZN because there's other belts and other middleweights there?
Like I told you last night, man, it's just a case of playing hardball. If y'all want me to sign with DAZN, then I need the Canelo fight next. I don't need to wait around. I don't need to be pussyfooting. I already did that with HBO, and I didn't get it. So that, to me, that tells me Al Heyman is a good advisor, and he's probably telling them if you can't get that Canelo fight, then come back over here to Showtime or PBC. And we all know that those fighters are not under contract with any kind of network, so he could probably do like a 1-off or a 2-off and fight Jamel Charlo, maybe a rematch, and go back to the zone by building his brand.
Mara, just to bring you up to speed, we're going through the Patreon comments. So we'll get your thoughts on Oliver. And his question was, for the sake of boxing as a whole, what can American fans learn from UK fans, and what can UK fans learn from American fans? Your thoughts?
That's a great question. I think that the biggest aspect of UK boxing from that I enjoy personally is their ability to get behind every weight class. I mean, they support their guys in the UK. Like, they don't look at it as like he's a welterweight or a featherweight or a lightweight or a heavyweight. They look at it, he's a UK guy. That's what I think that American boxing is missing so much, because the casual fans, they're obsessed with the heavyweight division, and rightfully so. It was the big division everywhere in boxing. You know, it was the only division that mattered at a certain point in the whole entire world. And I mean, maybe not everywhere. There were some lively fighters in Japan during that time, but that is my biggest takeaway, is, being able to get behind guys that may be smaller or in the lighter weights. But the problem is that American fans always have to wait for somebody, like casuals, like they waited until Floyd Mayweather. Like, don't forget, Floyd Mayweather was one of the best fighters in the world, and he still wasn't like this marketable guy. Even after De La Hoya, it wasn't this like huge mega star that he is today. It still took time. Obviously De La Hoya was like the launching pad. And as far as the US being able to teach the UK anything, as far as fanship goes, man, I don't know. I would say the one thing that American fans have done really well, despite the fact that America might not be doing this really well, is adopting other nationalities. Triple G is treated like a Mexican or a Mexican American or whatever. Pacquiao was embraced as like an American fighter almost. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we've kind of deemed or knighted. I guess knighted is a fitting word in that sense. And so I think the UK could maybe learn like something, but I don't even think that's a problem over there. I really don't. I mean, the fact that they get behind their fighters is a great thing. And I think it's more important for American fans to take that than vice versa.
Real quick, man, I want to give a shout out to my to the best referee in the game, Steve Withers, man. If you guys don't follow him on IG, please go follow him, man. He is a good follow. He's fucking very entertaining. He's funny. I didn't know Steve Withers had this kind of personality, but the guy's funny as shit.
You have shouted out that guy a lot lately. I was like,
I mean, I shouted him out like during that fight with Jamel. Was it Jamel or was it Tony Harrison?
I thought Jamal. It was Jamal. I think it was Jamal, wasn't? No. Yeah, it was Jamal.
Whoever it was, he did such a great job. He wasn't all in the video, wasn't trying to be all in the fight, all in the camera. He was doing what a referee is supposed to do, judge the action, and not make himself a part of the fight.
He's always been one of the best in the business.
Mario, so your thoughts on the term robbery and its overuse in boxing, or is there no overuse? Has it been rightfully used?
It has not been rightfully used. It has been overused by fans and media alike. The term robbery, for whatever, look, I'm not. I definitely love the history of boxing, and I've watched plenty of classic fights, but I don't have a beat on the pulse of a lot of history and the time and the eras. I will say, so I can't say like if robbery had a certain meaning or phrase or term or whatever, but I can tell you that today it automatically is used for someone that believes someone else won a fight. If fighter A loses a fight and a fan believes that he won that fight, it's automatically thrown in there. Canelo Golovkin won was, in my opinion, a robbery, a slight robbery, but a robbery nonetheless. Gennady and Canelo 2 was not a robbery at all, not even a little bit. It was a close fight. The way I always put it is if the fight is close enough to be like 2 points on either side, then it's most of the time not a robbery. And I won't say all the time, because obviously there are those fights that, like, it goes back to the whole debate that we've been having lately on the shows about Fury and Wilder. With Fury and Wilder, how many definitive rounds did Wilder put in? And that's where my 10-2 comes in. For those that have listened to Ness, undersell me there. I didn't score the fight 10-2, but I did say that there was a disparity between Wilder's ability to put in definite rounds. And in that, he only put in 2 definitive rounds, in my opinion. I don't recall, and I'll have watched it once, him putting in any definitive rounds. I think any round you can give him was a swing round, and so, but that said, I don't necessarily think that it was a robbery. I know I said it the other day on a show that I thought it was a robbery. I think I was just letting my emotions get the better of me and debating. But I don't think that was even a robbery. I'm not sure it was. I can't wait to rescore it again. I guess we'll do that next Tuesday. But yes, absolutely. That's a big thing. And look, Atlas, I've always loved Atlas. On Friday Night Fights, I always thought he did a good job. He was theatrical, but I don't think he always did a good job in terms of presenting the facts correctly. A lot of guys think that whatever they say, it is the final judgment. It is the final word. And Atlas is one of those guys. And the fact that he started throwing around these robberies, like when it started, Friday Night Fights was in a position where they had some really bad robberies back to back to back. So what I think happened was it raised the atmosphere, it raised the pressure point, it raised the boiling point in everybody who was watching these, specifically the hardcore fans. So we were already so amped about 3 or 4 robberies that happened in a very short or consecutive time span that anything at that point that was closely resembling a bad call, because again, there's a difference between a robbery and a bad scorecard. A bad scorecard can be off by 1 round. A robbery is off by many rounds, and it is completely contradicting to the way that the fight played out. But a bad scorecard, there's levels to a bad scorecard. So yes, it is overused in today's boxing. I think that if you were to go back, you could see the trend, and it started from a very genuine place. It started from a place where the need to highlight robberies in boxing was needed, but it took over. It's kind of like the Me Too movement in a lot of ways, and I don't want to get like political or anything, but that whole thing started out from a very genuine place, and then it just exploded in a lot of ways that weren't necessarily the way that it was intended to be. And that's the way the robberies debate has happened. It started from a very genuine place, but it's gotten quite out of control.
Well, so we have another one, and it comes from Jacob, and it's a link to an AJ interview with Sporting Icons YouTube. I don't know if you guys want to click it, listen to it in the background. I only had to listen to
Sporting News or Sporting Icon?
Sporting News.
Yeah, I've seen it already.
Well, great. Well, I only listened to a minute, and you know, again, Oliver said, "What could they learn from us? They can learn to sniff bullshit or hypocrisy." And you know, with AJ, that's what I see. Like, can it be spinned that Wilder is hypocritic? Is a hypocrite himself because he doesn't want the AJ fight? Yeah, if you're like some mindless sheep that believes he shouldn't go for the rematch, like Floyd did with Castillo. But if you're not a mindless sheep, you know that he's busy. This is not ducking. But in this interview where Anthony Joshua, the title is Anthony Joshua Talks Gerald Big Baby Miller and Big Talkers, he has an issue with people talking shit, right? And his specific words are, we don't have to bring each other down to talk and get a fight. But last I checked, and this is what I'm saying, this is like logic shit that you can see, that it's not me twisting it. Like, he's the one making videos of Wilder. He's mocking Wilder's speech in one video when he's saying, bronze bomb or whatever, Wilder, let's go. You know what I mean? One of those quotes you guys know, he's repeating a Wilder phrase, where he's like, the heavyweight bomb drama of the world. Man, we hear all that shit, right? That's one, right? So then the next one now is most recent where he's like, to this day, and that's another one, right? So the other one is the dude from Bama. So it's like, bro, you doing the same shit they doing to you. Like, why are you being a hypocrite? Like, why are you mad that people are taking the same route that you're doing? Like, aren't you the same dude that said, oh, I need to smack him down? He needs to know his place. What place is that if that's not big talker shit, big shit talking? Like he's such a fucking pussy in my eyes. It's like, yo, he wants to do until they start doing. And that's typical UK shit. It's like, yo, I'm going to talk shit about you until the heat turns up. And it's like, oh, you Americans are offensive. Like, what the fuck? I mean, you the one saying he's got to raise his profile. Don't nobody know him. Like, all these things. We can't go around assuming what words hurt for people. Mario could say something that won't hurt Mike, but it could hurt me. Or hurt may be a strong word, but we could take it differently.
As you saw.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from, and look, I will agree with the words you said. The UK fans could do a better job of sniffing out bullshit, but the way that I will change that, because I don't, for whatever you say, I don't think they get the wool pulled over their eyes as much as you say they do. I think what ends up happening is, yes, they fit the narrative sometimes, but all fans do that. It's not a UK thing. I think the problem is that when they do hear something that isn't right, they aren't quick to jump on it and bash it. That said, the UK fans that do that, they are very they are very loud and they make their voice known. And I've seen plenty of them go straight up to promoters and fighters. And, these aren't media guys. These aren't journalists. These aren't people with podcasts. They're regular fans, with a beer in their hand, going up to Eddie Hearn at a show and calling him out on some bullshit. So, but I get what you're saying. I do,
some of the audio, because, you didn't hear it. And just to bring people up to speed, you don't even have to listen much.
Opportunities in America, because a lot of these guys, if they don't talk, they're not heard. Whereas you fight, and that's all that you got to say.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that? To kind of understand that these guys are talking because they don't get these opportunities.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Now let's just stop it there. The interviewer made it clear. How do you feel now that maybe you're interpreting it wrong? These guys are talking because they want to get an opportunity. You are Anthony Joshua. You just got to fight. You already a machine. You know what I'm saying? So let's hear his take.
To retract that statement. It's not all Americans. You know what I mean? I don't want to put everyone in one basket, but I feel like some fighters do it. And I do understand it. It's part of the game. But as I've always said is that, like, we don't need to bring each other down to make me feel better and boost my ego. I'm just saying, like, look, if that guy's a good fighter, I respect.
All right, and to make it short, I just wanted you to hear it from the horse's mouth. Now, Mike, do you feel that he's ever brought any fighter down? And he being Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Mari, do you feel that he's ever brought any fighter down?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, then. So then end the story. He's a fucking hypocrite. Like, why are you going out here telling people, oh, we don't need to bring each other down? Meanwhile, you all on Eddie Chambers' DM being exposed, talking about whatever the fuck he was talking about. That's bringing the fighter down. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, though. People just, they have their, listen, I'm going to call Wilder on his bullshit. I've always done it. I call Floyd. I call Cotto. It don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? People can say what they want. I got track record of going up to the fighter saying the things that people would never think I would say. But let's go back to the topics. Let me see what we got. That was from Jacob. He was the one that posted that interview. So Elm says, oh yeah, I need a link to this, my friend. Elm says Wilder saying he wants to get pregnant. Elephant in the room. Emoji with the laughing out loud. And you're on the line. So Elms, go ahead and take it away because I've heard this for about a month now. I've not seen a link. I haven't even seen an Instagram clip of this. So if you could provide some, not your thoughts, if you could provide a link to what now I believe is your second accusation of Wilder without a link, that would help. So this way we can make sure that the words you're using were within context. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that it was within context. I know how people like to twist things. I am raising my hand before you point the finger saying that I am a man who tries his best to twist things in my favor. That is my job.
Okay. Can I provide a link? Where do I send the link? And put it in the community chat.
Absolutely. That's what the community's for.
Oh yeah. And the other
you could also put it in the YouTube link. Put it in right now. YouTube is live with this link. You can find it by going through Patreon. Put it there so the rest of the family can see that you're not telling the truth.
And I'm gonna give you a timestamp as well. But the other one, I already posted it in the community. The other thing I teased you up. You said.
Well, yeah, I'll check it out. You got a bad connection today, though, buddy. What's up? You got you got a bad connection today. Thanks that you're going on mute. You're the man. All right. So what else we got? It's time to get. Oh no, not yet. We got Eric Cruz. Would love to know what's the best fights you guys have ever attended, and if we could get your guys' fight of the year. KO of the year and upset of the year would be great. Before anybody answers that, what I will say is that all fights of the year and year-end rewards and nominations, we will be having a voting poll coming out after Christmas on Wednesday or probably tomorrow if I can get it in time from Ron and the rest of the guys. As far as all the nominations, all the categories, and then we'll let all the patrons vote on Patreon, and from there we'll take those answers and make a year-end show. So that'll answer that question, Eric Cruz. But the other half can easily be answered by all hosts, which is what's the best fight that you've ever attended? Mario, take it away.
Man, I would say the best fight I ever attended would have to be Pacquiao Cotto. It was the first time I'd ever been at MGM. There was an atmosphere in the ring that night. It felt special. You know, I've heard a lot of journalists and media guys like Farhood and Max Kellerman and Lampley and these guys mention, you know, the times where they were there and it was special. Before the fight even started, it just felt special. Like you knew there was an aura in the air that told you something was going to happen. And that felt really special that night. You know, Pacquiao was definitely a favorite. It was coming in at a time where he hadn't yet blossomed as the megastar that he would be. But he was definitely on the horizon. It was definitely there. I mean, he was almost there, you know, but that night, there were some special moments in the ring. And yeah, you know, it was more like the first 4 or 5 rounds that were special. The fight definitely got out of hand, but the crowd responded to every big hit. Pacquiao's fans were in attendance in a big way. I mean, I can't remember what hotel I was staying at now, but it didn't matter. If you were in the old strip, new strip, there were just fans. And I remember Pacquiao coming out of a building, coming out of the hotel, and just an entourage of people, you know, and so it was a lot of fun. You know, I've been to 5 Pacquiao fights in my life, and that was the one that felt the most special in my life. So yeah, that's something I'll never forget. And I was with my father and my brother, my dad, who you know, taught me, got me into boxing. My brother, who I've watched more fights with than anyone in the world. And so it was great to be there with them. But yeah, that was my fight.
Seconds.
Mike.
Shit, I only been in one fight, so shit, Canelo Triple G was the best fight that I ever been to.
Well, that's gonna be hard to top, so that's a good one. How was the atmosphere for you?
Shit, I was in the motherfucking
Mike. So he canceled then.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's what I said. I don't like scheduling shit until.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Man, shit make me fucking look bad, bro. I don't like that shit, man. But anyway,
soundbite, yo. That make me fucking look bad. Yo, I felt the pain in that, yo.
I'm serious though,
yeah,
man.
you can't. Nobody. Nah, Mike. Nobody.
No, I felt
you don't look bad, Mike. You don't look bad. You don't. It's Christmas Eve, man. Come on.
Christmas Eve. That's why I told you to send him that text. Give him give him that door to get out of this interview. It's Christmas Eve. Only us degenerates are here. Come on, that man.
I know, but yeah, don't, man. I just from a different place, man. You tell me you do something, then I believe you. I believe you. Sorry.
Wildin', B. You wildin'.
Yeah, right.
Let me go out to Canada, man. Let me go out to Canada, Jose. Jose, man. I know you don't treat no softies soft, man. Tell this man, son, you over here crying and shit on Christmas.
Popping all this champagne, popping all this rose, getting money like Jose, chain cold, Norway, shorty want that.
Well, y'all take shit too far, but go ahead, Neff.
Taking shots at Mike would be against my best interest, man. Thanks to this man, I get to hear you guys every day of the week. So why would I do that?
Oh, that is true.
I want to make sure Mike's happy, man. I'm not like these foolish boxing fans that sometimes they go against their better interests, man. Like watching Dillian White versus Anthony Joshua. How could that be in your best interest? That's against what you should want to see. But whatever. Best fight I've ever seen live, man. To be honest, one would have to be Wilder Fury, man, including like the intro, the ring walk.
Yeah, that shit was
round
epic.
12. Like the post fight interviews, everything about it, man. The crowd, like those gypsies, man. Fuck, they ever bring atmosphere, man. They were hilarious in the arena. They were well behaved. They were great fans. I liked it, man. And then other than that, I'd have to say another fight that was epic was the Martinez Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight. It was pretty much a one-sided fight. It was on Mexican Independence Day, and then in round 12, man, Julio caught him, and I swear it felt like an earthquake in there, man. It was at the Thomas and Mack Center. It was a magical moment, man. Like and that's what boxing's about. Sometimes it's not the 36 minutes, man. It's not really the duration of the fight. It's just little bits and little pieces of the actual fight that make it memorable. And I don't think I've ever been in an arena where something that magical happened, man.
Because you ain't never been to a fight in the UK, baby.
No, that's not. You know what? Like I said that before, man. Those guys, They are amazing supporters. They are great fans
Nah,
of
bro.
the
Nah,
UK,
listen,
but
watching
they're
it
not
on
fans of
TV,
boxing.
and being anyway, you got a whole minute and 10 left. Go ahead. You answer your question.
Well, there you go, man. To me, that's just great fans of their country, man. They're great countrymen. They don't respect the sport, man. They don't love the sport. Otherwise, they wouldn't be cheering for those bombs. They wouldn't be telling the world that Bellew is good. And then Bellew goes in and does suicide by cop, man. He was already shaking his head. Go watch that fight, man. The last round before he goes in, he was shaking his head. He's like, I can't do it. I'm done. I'm done. He knew he was done, so he went in and just like, the guy that doesn't have enough guts to pull the trigger and blow his own brains out, he goes out and lets someone else do it for him, man. Suicide by cop. The coward, man. He was shit. He was garbage. And the whole UK thought this guy was good. Bellew was good. All these guys have inflated resumes, man. It's just a mirage. It's fake. Mario, don't buy it, Don't buy it, Mario. Don't do it, man. You guys should know better than this, man. Educated boxing fans. Anyway, guys, you know what? Those are two great fights. And every single fight, I suggest people go watch live, guys. There's nothing like watching a boxing match live, man. Do it. Believe me. That's it. Merry Christmas. Peace.
Real quick, I remember when he went, this was before we had somebody at every fight. And I'll never forget, because the way it looked on TV was one way. And I mean, the 12th round exploded. And I'm talking about Martinez Chavez. But the way that he described it, because he was there, Jose was there, and he just described it. And everybody said that it was just this crazy place. And I remember we had a caller call in, and he was like actually sitting several rows behind Jose, and they didn't, without knowing it. And yeah, it was an epic night. That's one fight that I really wish I could have gone to, because yeah, Jose made it sound like it was just this huge fucking party. And as pitted against each other as both sides fans were, they still came together to make it a really amazing night. So I just remember Jose describing it so awesome the Sunday after. But real quick, the one thing I Ness didn't give his fight, and before he even does, I just want to explain, like, I've always felt bad for Ness. When Ness covered a lot of fights, he doesn't cover as many as he used to, because obviously he does the show and there are a lot more things to do now than before. I felt bad for him because he was always working so hard. If you didn't follow us back then, Ness was putting out interviews before the fights were even starting. He was scouring the building. I mean, that's why he has so many great connections. I mean, so many great contacts today, because, this guy was working with the rest of the people that were working. He wasn't just sitting there, covering, putting down his rounds for each fight on the undercard. I mean, he was working every second of those fights. So the problem with doing that is you don't always get to see or enjoy the fights the way that, some of the other, I mean, definitely the way the fans do that pay the ticket, but the way that a lot of other journalists do that go and look, I'm not hating on people that go and cover the fight and, put out a post fight and get their, media quotes that are handed to them. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Covering a fight is a job no matter what, but there is a big difference between that and what Ness does. So, that's why I preluded that, and I'm wondering what Ness has to say about his favorite fight.
So for me, man, it never really gets down to the actual fight and in the ring. And that's why I'll tell Jose, you haven't been to a UK fight, unfortunately. But mine's is more than just 20-something thousand people cheering, because that's about all that was at Fury Pinata. It was about 25,000 that rainy day in Belfast. But the twist is obviously I was there and I had amazing access. I was part of, Team Wilder. So the entire experience was me recording what you would see as if you were part of the entourage with Wilder.
I remember that.
just walking through the stadium the way that we walked through it, without being there with him, I would have experienced it that way. So again, everything was just times 10, being there to see the actual guy and what he's upset at, and watch him throw the beer that lands on Wilder, like all of that. To watch the security guard, try to force Wilder to go a certain way and act a certain way after that beer fell. Just to be part of all that. I mean, to watch, the interactions between Fury in the backstage. I was able to walk out with, I don't think any fight yet is going to be able to top that until I get that level of access. I walked out with Fury. When Fury said, I was there recording, I walked Showtime, HBO would never let me record that. I walked out literally to the fucking ring with Fury and then turned around, hustled to the motherfucking back room, to the media room to post it. Like, dude, that shit was dope for me. I love that experience. Just the fact that I got to take the picture in front of the ring, like when the UK come out, they got like the fireworks and all that shit and the red lights. I got to do that. So it just is too much. Like the fight in itself, it was piñata. It didn't matter, but it does matter so much because it's part of history. And in my own way, I'm part of history. That fight is what set up Wilder Fury, which right now is, his biggest fight. And that only is a stepping stone of the story that is Wilder, which I'm going to continue to be attached to. So, yeah, for me, it was definitely that, because there's just never been that level of, the UK fans are crazy, bro. I'm telling you, the cheers, walking through that stadium, the boos, everything, walking with Wilder throughout that country, watching how many people know him, how many people want to take pictures with him. It's just insane. Yo, being in Nando's, I'm telling you, it's gonna be impossible to top that. Like, until Wilder, maybe AJ happens, or maybe if I didn't do all that we did for the fans for Wilder Fury, and I would have, juiced the access and done it for Wilder Fury, maybe that would have topped it, but I don't think so because of the outcome.
The funniest thing I seen from that trip was the guy, "You big dog son, fuck you big dog son. Hey, Wilder, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? I'm like, bro, you just called him a big dumb black dog son, and now you want a picture with him?
And then what did I do? Went
over there and and called him out like, hey, did you just call him stupid? Like, yes, so.
Yo,
and then like, no, I love Wilder. And then as soon as he finished saying I love Wilder, he says, but he's a dawson, he's a bum, you bum, and he goes,
hilarious.
Nothing tops those crazy UK fans. Like, sometimes it's dangerous, though. I'm always fearful that what happened in Nando's is going to happen. I feel like they can't hold their liquor, and that's why there's always fights. But I still love that. Excitement.
Nando's was something. Oh, man, you lucky, bro.
Yo, listen.
They probably never like top that ever again in your life. Like Nando's, Billy Joe Saunders, him. Like that kind of conversation, like that don't happen, bro.
All that sounds amazing. It really does. But I'm gonna give my favorite Ness fight. I know that sounds weird because I wasn't there and it was Ness, but just from all of the what you got that fight week and everything that you were a part of, and I got to see firsthand all of the stuff. I got to see the stuff that didn't make it onto YouTube, that couldn't, some of the off the record stuff. But maybe you could talk about it a little bit. Was Porter Thurman.
Man, I don't even remember what didn't make it out, but that was also cool in itself. But you see, like this one, I felt like it was bigger than that. But that one at the moment was super huge for me, and
look here, man, it's cool. I love the reminiscing, but let's get to this freaky shit, man. Now they put it in the chat, man. Let's get to this freaky shit, man. What's up? What's going on?
A question. Well, go ahead, take it away, champ.
Oh,
let me tell.
Yeah. That's the question.
The question is, Naja says, let's get personal. Tell us
Oh.
about your most awkward sexual experience. Go ahead, Mike.
My most awkward sexual experience. Okay. My damn mask off for this one right here.
You all smiling. Anything for
Yeah, man.
Naja. This dude.
No. It's nasty as fuck, but it's funny as fuck though. Anyway, so it's a day, you know what I'm saying? Me and this girl that I met, we went out for dinner, you know what I'm saying? Went out to go play pool, got really fucking drunk, and we got stupid hammered. I'm my nigga, a whole bottle worth of fucking hammer. And I was like 25, 26, you know what I'm saying? Way before my accident. So we're out, we're having fun, you know what I'm saying? Everything's going good. We go back to her crib and we continue drinking. I'm talking about we drinking Ciroc and we had like some kind of brandy, and I like brown liquor. So I started mixing my shit. She started mixing her shit. And one thing led to another, you know what I'm saying? So one thing about me, I was always like the guy that wanted to be like the superstar athlete, but a superstar in the bedroom too. So I took my time. I made sure everything, you know what I'm saying, lovely and all that. But this night was a little bit different. So we make it to the bedroom, you know what I'm saying, and we getting it in. And I just stopped and be like, damn, bro, I'm tired of stroking, you know what I'm saying. I really would like, you know what I'm saying, some oral sex. So she proceeds, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me find out, because Nas is listening. You trying to be PC over here. Like, I was stroking.
I mean, I was stroking. I mean, people know what stroking is, right? Like I was fucking and whatever. How you want to say it?
Mike, why you cutting me or
because nigga, this is my story.
You don't know what I'm gonna say.
This is my story though.
This motherfucker cut.
Thank you. But anyway, like I said, we changed position and she started, you know what I'm saying, give me a fellatio. Start gagging, which is normal, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I heard it all my life. So one thing that I didn't hear was she threw up all over my motherfucking nuts and my cock, man. She threw up on my stomach, on my fucking feet, everything. I was so happy I was at her house because she had to clean it up. So she threw up. I got in the shower.
I don't think anyone's gonna top in terms of awkward.
They said awkward. I mean, that's awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
And the bad thing about it, man, your boy didn't even get a nut.
Yo, yeah, we going to mastermind. Javier, talk to me.
Mike, what the fuck you got going on, man?
Hey, man. Hey. I'm telling you, bro, back in the day, boy, I was a goddamn Olympian nigga at sex.
Hey, Ness, you heard how Mike was trying to be slick, trying to talk. He was talking to Nines on the Lord. Nigga talking, I've been hearing gagging all my life.
Yeah.
You know, I've been that nigga ain't slick. That nigga think he's slick. I've been hearing it all my life. Man, get your ass out of here, Mike. Fuck out of here, man. I'm done. I ain't know you was acting like that, dog.
Oh, I thought he meant because he was anorexic. Oh, what was he talking about?
Yo, Nas are dropping clapping emojis in the motherfucking
chat. But y'all are something else, boy. Hey, Javi, I ain't know you cut that shit, Javi, but I was trying to be slick, you know what I'm saying?
The thing is, he all trying to be proper and shit. Yeah, I wanted to.
Hey, my cock and fellatio. Nigga, don't nobody say
and I wanted oral sex. I'm like, where the fuck hood you from, motherfucker?
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure everybody know what I'm talking about. Like when I start saying other shit, y'all be like, what you talking about, man? I'm trying to make sure everybody knows from the UK to Australia to fucking Barbados. Bermuda. They know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, she threw up all on your boy. But I'm talking, nigga, she threw up like food chunks, nigga, like food was on my goddamn pubic hairs and shit.
Mike.
I'm like, bruh.
Yo, I've heard stories like that before, but I did not expect that coming. I'm not gonna lie.
Good, Mike, we got the picture.
No pun intended.
We good. We don't need no
Mike,
more about that.
You are spoiled goods, my nigga.
I bet you had broccoli.
You spoiled good.
That ain't said. I think she had broccoli. Yo, you.
Oh shit, Mike! I ain't know you was coming like that, bro. Damn, you
I know.
say that's
Bro, when something like that happened to you, bro, you could never ever forget that shit.
I know, but nigga, keep that shit to yourself. Don't tell everyone.
Bro, nigga, ain't like, bro, it should happen, nigga. When you drunk, nigga, you fucking throw up.
This game, tell him, Mike.
Man, I don't give a fuck, nigga. Bro, if you see
Mike.
if you seen the women that I've had in my lifetime, up to about 28, boy, you will be proud of me, and I'm proud of myself.
Mike, no, I'll be proud of you if you sent her to go take a shower, clean everything up, and then you got to work again.
Nigga, I left, nigga. As soon as she got in the shower, I was
That
gone.
motherfucker.
You was gone.
Nigga, as soon as she got in the shower, I was gone, my nigga. I took my shower first, and she was cleaning up. As soon as she got in the shower, nigga, I left. I ain't got time for that bullshit.
I'm deleting. I'm blocking her number.
He just said he
everything.
ain't even nut. How you gonna leave without, man? You terrible. You got
Bro, the mood was fucked up, nigga.
That's why you sent her to the shower.
If she throw up on me, I'm done. You are.
Thank you, Javier.
I'm sending her to the shower. Go take a shower, man. You be all right. We gonna handle this in about 2-3 hours. Well, damn.
Oh, nigga, don't get it twisted, nigga. I came back, you know what I'm saying? Not the same day, the same week.
Try to fix
I came back though.
We going to ride in the 870. Rod, what up?
Rod know about them Arkansas women.
Yeah, dude. But hey, Mike, you know you didn't go back for to finish that thing off.
I mean, not the same day, bro, but maybe like a week after, because the head was good. Now I ain't gonna lie to you, the head was good.
Oh, man, I'd went back. I'm like Ness. I'd went back and finished that thing off. But
yeah, was crazy.
But yeah, I would say the best fight I ever attended was the Roy Jones Jeff Lacey fight. And it's crazy because it was Roy Jones had been my favorite boxer. The reason I got into watching boxing.
Man, fuck all that, man. This Untitled, baby. Tell me some fucking nasty, freaky shit that happened to you, bang. All this boxing shit. Now you got a question for everybody. What is y'all awkward sexual experience? Period. This Untitled.
His call, man. Yo, Mike is the worst.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love the energy.
Mike killing me, man. Yeah, but yeah, I went to the Roy Jones fight, and me and my old lady, we were in New Orleans celebrating. I didn't even realize Roy Jones was fighting that weekend in Biloxi. And, you know, somebody mentioned it on Bourbon Street, and I looked online, grabbed some tickets, went over to the fight. It was like maybe an hour from his hometown, so it was a good crowd. It was about 10,000 there, and we had good seats. We actually got seats like close to the front row. And, man, it was Roy Jones. It was a great fight. He ended up stopping Jeff Lacey in the 8th or 9th round, which led to him fighting Tito, which led to eventually him getting a shot at Kawasaki, which he lost. But it was just a good experience for me because I love Roy Jones my whole life. I was too young to actually go to a fight. And then when I was able to actually have the funds and a great job to buy tickets, I was able to go see Roy Jones fight. He wasn't at his best, but he was still good enough to where I enjoyed the fight. And that was one of my great experiences. But, Mike, I can't really tell you a story right now because my wife's sitting right beside me. And so,
happy wife, happy life, boy. You better not say shit, goddamn. Don't you say nothing.
Yeah, I just can't believe you listen to the show with your wife. That's what's up. We appreciate that. That's
good, man. Dude, I've never listened to a show like that. I love it. So I'm actually tuning in like every fucking day now. It's crazy, man. I was telling her how much I like the show, you know. So
man,
you guys are doing a good job, man.
We can't wait, man, because hopefully in March we'll have some sort of function. You could check it out right on the Patreon. And oh yeah, you still got about 30. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. I agree with 95% of what you say. Like, me and you are on the same page. I almost feel like a fucking sheep because I agree with you so much. But on that Canelo thing, me and you was going at it and you cut me off. Canelo has not been perfect at having and fighting everybody. Me and a buddy, when it looked at his resume, he has some great fights on his resume. His resume is great, but he still has he still sprinkle weak fights in there between great fights. At Canelo's age, I wish he would just fight tough fights all the way through.
No,
I wish he would just fight tough fight after tough fight after tough fight.
No.
Not saying
you can't do that.
Rod, you're punching after the bell, but I'll tell you why. Look, he's 28. Look at all that he's accomplished. Go look at another 28-year-old and put it against Canelo's resume. That's why you sprinkle in some in between. But look at what he's done, and that's why he's getting that $365 million.
Yo, and who else that fought the best in both weight classes that he was in? He was at junior middleweight, fought Laura, and after he fought Trout already, and then he went up and he fought Golovkin. Like, you know what I mean? Even if there is a little weak sauce in between, like, that don't matter because everybody has that. Like, I cannot ride with that. He's got an amazing resume, and
credit. You're not giving him enough.
Pacquiao didn't even fight any good junior middleweights. Like, he had a bullshit ass title there. Like, come on, like,
I don't think you're giving Canelo enough credit. At 54, he fought Trout, who beat Cotto. He fought Laura, who we thought was the dark horse. And, whatever you consider the fight between him and Cotto, whether that's a one.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Whether that's a 160 in your eyes or a 54, because they both were that, it don't matter. He beat him too, and then he fought Gennady and beat him too twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, y'all bugging. Dudes just be hating. That's what I'm saying. Look, Joshua get hate. Joshua get hate by me, right? Joshua get hate by me. So there's someone on the other side of the world saying, yo, Joshua, in less than 16 fights became a champion and he's unified and he's fighting top 10. Like, somebody can make the same case I'm making. We always got something wrong. We never happy. Because look at Josh. We got a great resume. Look at Cody. Got a great resume. Danny, great resume. But we still find flaws. We still talk shit. We mad critical. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? When Floyd was out, we talk shit.
One thing about being at the top, people was always going to throw stones at you. So
Curtis Bone.
It is what it is.
But you can't live in that glass house. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man.
And I don't think Canelo does. That's just bottom line. We got the last one is coming from David Cowboy. He says, can you give your opinion on Jamel's development under Derek James? In my opinion, I feel like he's forcing that stalk and one punch style that's not natural to him. And as a result, he's looked not great in his last few fights. Though it's hard to look good against Trout and Harrison, he seemed to be better under Ronnie Shields. I mean, obviously, in retrospect, it's easy to say that because he's had these fights without Ronnie Shields and looked the way that he's looked. But, there's an argument that he's looked better with Derek James than he has with Ronnie Shields, that he's gotten the knockouts, that he's actually gotten hotter. His name propelled under Derek James due to those knockouts. The thing is, styles makes fights. Like, he should have known. He should have been preparing for Willie Monroe, Tony Harrison style of fight, because those are boxers on their toes, constantly moving. Like, everyone that caught those guys or that caught Harrison, they fought harder. They outworked.
I agree. I think that the one thing you can say is that when he first made the move with Derek, it was like one of those things where you could see an immediate impact that he made that did work out for the better. I mean, I agree with the assessment. Obviously he has changed his approach and his mindset in the ring to be and I wouldn't even say it was like more aggressive necessarily. I mean, I guess it is, but more it's like he's looking for ways to put a guy out there. So hindsight is 2020, just like Ness said. I wouldn't say that he would have been better off staying. What I would say is that maybe he'd be better off. I mean, I think any fighter would be better off, like, depending on who he's fighting, picking a certain trainer to ride with. So, there might be some fights that he would have been better off with Ronnie Shields, and there would have been fights that he would have been better with Derek James. So it's just like one of those things where you can't really, I mean, hindsight's 2020, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it was a bad move, but I definitely think there are aspects of his game that miss the Ronnie Shields camp.
Yeah, man. I think he's better with Ronnie Shields. I just think Derek James' style of workmanship or going about the boxing aspect works for Errol Spence because he's a bigger guy for that division, so he can walk you down. Jamel Charlo is not the biggest guy at 154, so maybe that style is not just conducive to what he does best. And I think he has a pretty good jab when he uses it. So maybe he should stick with Ronnie Shields, man. I think Ronnie Shields is a damn good coach that is highly underrated. But Javier want to boomerang back in.
Javier.
Yo, I forgot to talk about my only fight I've been to. You feel me? I went to the Wilder Fury fight. That was my only fight I've been to, but that shit was crazy. Cause I brought my friend with me, and he ain't never been in. I mean, he don't even watch boxing, to be honest. But shit, he was like, shit, this is one of the best events he ever been to. Cause we was surrounded by UK people, bro, and them motherfuckers was funny as hell. And then right before the Wilder Fury fight started, I think Deontay just started his walkout. A fast UK dude was fighting this Mexican guy, and I mean they was just getting at it. And the UK dude was there; he ain't have his shirt on no more. Motherfucker pants was halfway down. That shit was funny. And then I mean the atmosphere was crazy because the fight before the fucking stands weren't even full. We was like, damn, ain't nobody showing up for this shit. And then it was like maybe 3 minutes before Fury walked out, that shit just like filled up. Like all the seats that was open, them motherfuckers was gone. That shit was filled up. And the fucking atmosphere was crazy for the whole fight. I met a little older Hispanic dude next to me. He was talking about Errol Spence and them, and he was talking about other fights. He was cool as hell, bro. That shit was fun, man. I ain't gonna lie. That was like, cause I've been to like big football games and shit, and it's like that shit totally different. Like boxing matches and like other sport events, it's totally different environment. Like you can feel like it feels tense at boxing matches because you got two different sides and motherfuckers like shit. What if my dude get caught? Shit, the other side thinking, what if my dude get caught? So it's like anytime something big happens, you like, oh fuck, or you like, oh shit, here we go. Because the last knockdown, bro, when Deontay knocked down Fury, we thought that shit was over.
Outside of the fight, what's the most memorable thing you saw?
Outside of the fight?
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, the other fight I saw down the street. Bro, they was getting it in. And then, I swear, it was like 3 other Mexican dudes. I know they went with this motherfucker. They came down and got like 3 extra shots on the English dude. And then they told the security on the motherfucker and said he started the shit. So they took the English dude out. That shit was funny as hell. The Americans basically ganged up on this motherfucker and then got this motherfucker escorted out. He ain't had no shirt on or nothing. That shit was funny. I ain't gonna lie, but bro, the fight was lit, man. This shit was great. And Mike, tell no more sex stories, you fucking creep. You a nasty nigga. You are.
Hey Ray, why y'all always saying nasty shit?
This nigga gonna say, shit, the head was still good. Nigga, she threw up on you. That shit ain't good, nigga.
Nigga, she was drunk. Nigga, I was drunk too, though.
I don't want to hear none of that. You a nasty.
And you fucked up the goddamn me alley oop. Why y'all always saying nasty shit? The life, because I'm a nasty motherfucker. That's why. Damn, man. Javier, you supposed to be from Alabama too, man. Yo, fake country ass on.
All right, so that is wrapping up the show. But before we go, we got Fighter RQ on the check-in. Ron G, what up? What up? What up?
Yo, Ness. Yo.
What up?
That ain't Ron G.
Oh, because Elm's trying to get a double call. Elm,
hey, Ron tricked your ass.
I called before. Listen.
Nah, you called. You called.
You don't want to go to the link, bro. You're scared.
You don't
want to go to the link.
Don't lose your privileges, B.
Hey, Elms straight suck at you, bro. He put Ron G on this shit. Hey, shut up, my guy Elms, man, for playing that ass to this motherfucker.
No, Ron's on.
Ron's on. You just talking so you can't hear him. Like you always do.
I'm sorry, Ron G. I got a loud voice.
What up, Ron?
Yo.
Hey, don't be taking my shit, Ron. Come on with your own shit.
Yo, you nasty, bruh.
Because I'm a nasty motherfucker.
Nasty dude. This is so gross.
Hey man, bro, you act like a motherfucker playing on for that shit to happen. Oh, I'm gonna have this bitch over me tonight. You know what? I'm gonna have that motherfucking broccoli all on my shit.
I don't know. Biggie has some other stories in his rise. You might be in the weird shit, Mike.
Man, Biggie has some shit, bro. He'll fuck RuPaul or some shit, like he said.
Bro, I was driving
my lady to the train station.
I bet she started dying laughing.
Oh, bro, I had to fucking turn that shit off the car, and then on the side, like literally heard all that shit on my phone. She didn't hear it, but that shit was gross, bro. The shit was nasty, dude. You didn't have to tell that story. You didn't have to tell that.
Yo, she wanted awkward. She got awkward.
Hey, bro, y'all think that's nasty, bro. I got some nasty shit happening to me, man, in my lifetime. Trust me.
Damn. Volume 1 with Mike.
Yeah. I can dive into some nasty shit, man.
Yo.
You know what it is? It's that South life. That's that savage life.
Hey, bro, don't come with that South life shit, bro. Don't say, nah, nigga. We ain't, nah, bro. We ain't nasty, bro. It just, nigga, circumstances that happen, bro, that you got to deal with when you got to deal with them.
So,
and I was thinking for that since we ain't got no show at 3, why not just do a year-end like kind of poll the people on what they want?
We gotta get that right.
Yeah. I'm not saying do a show, but get ideas like from a show by having callers call in.
Yeah, and also we're not doing tomorrow's. I didn't realize it was Christmas. I'm not even going to be here for that, so there's no reason to continue to say that. Okay. But roll call. I want to thank Rick Fulton. What it do? Real Naja chick. Gary in Texas. Jemmy. What's Jemmy's real name?
Naja said y'all do nasty Wednesdays.
We actually got a post for that. I put one in there yesterday and got a lot of suggestions. We'll do that. We'll go to that before we close out. Really quick. Just throw out some of their suggestions so far. I haven't read any, so it will be all new.
Cool.
Come on. Patreon need to step it up. It should be a little slow when you don't use the app. The app is so much better. Or it could just be me with all these computers open, right?
Yeah, you got a lot of Wi-Fi going at once.
It's like I ain't got no Wi-Fi.
I will say that
all of them are?
All of them but one. Remember, all but this is Wi-Fi because that's just the thumbnail. But anyway, let me get to this. We got about Joseph says, all right, show idea suggestions. Okay, boom. So he says, here's one. Paulie Malignaggi said he was willing to debate Wilder or anyone else for that matter for the Wilder Fury scorecard. Okay, that's fine. We talked about that, but that's not this. We need something every Wednesday. Unless this is gonna say something like debate Wednesdays with
like a theme.
Yeah, it's a theme. All right. So Hardcore Boxing says a show on up and coming fighters. I really love this one. I really would like to get no name prospects on. Like I actually have the guy that's fighting Chris Algieri next. Danny Gonzalez El Gallo. He wants to come on the show, and I want to give him some shine. You know what I mean? So I like Prospect Wednesdays, or a better name. Brandon Maurice says UK Sheep Appreciation Wednesdays. Damn. Rodney says that's Rod in the 870 says a show where we discuss boxing analysis, coverage of fights. Is it biased? Is the knowledge there? How do they affect casuals? The accuracy or unofficial scorecards, rank them from the best to worst. How good the ex-boxers? How does their commentary affect boxing's growth and optics? Just an idea. I love critiquing analysts and opinion shows myself. Parentheses, First Take, Undisputed, HBO, Boxing, Cast, etc. Jacob says, I think you should do a history thing, starting from the beginning of boxing, go through the championship heavyweight fights from the beginning, and then do an analysis on all-time great rankings. That's probably something that's going to excite Ron. And we got Oliver. Prospect Wednesdays. Talk about up-and-coming fighters that can be the stars of tomorrow. And Rick says, to piggyback off Oliver and add to it, take a prospect fighting that upcoming weekend and do a spotlight on them. Or a young fighter one of the TBV crew has seen in person, whether it's sparring partner or in the gym, one of you have visited. I like that. I like the prospect thing, man. I think we need to build on the stars of tomorrow and focus on them because they're the future of our sport. Another one from Jose Garcia says, talk about the different weight classes and the dominant fighters or champions in each of them. Go in depth. Give a breakdown of their strength. That's not a weekly show. Elm says, does Dillian White deserve a shot? Also not a weekly show. Avery Benitez, Retro Fight Show. Watch one of the greatest fights of each division, starting at strawweight all the way to the heavyweight. Again, something Ron might like. And Mario. Avery Benitez with another one. Or a show devoted to the lower weight classes, only everything below 135. Oh my God. Do those guys even get knockouts? I feel like they hit so hard they could be throwing a million punches, and you got to watch 12 rounds of little dudes that are not even taller than the fucking ropes.
You got a couple of them down there. They got
that's
power.
hate. I like that idea. I know Ness wouldn't like that idea, but I like that idea.
Knockouts, though? How many?
Yeah, they get knockouts.
How many?
And
rugs and vibes and shit like that. Not every
new way.
I mean, it depends. Like if we're doing the whole thing where he said, go to the best fights in each weight class. Like that's definitely doable. That'll be exciting. But I mean, I don't know. I get why it would be problematic to like continue to do smaller weight classes. I would love it, but I don't think everybody else would.
We got another one from Jasprit. He says, fighter of the year, fight of the year, breakout of the year, trainer of the year. Great work, Ness, Mario, Mike, and all the callers. It's much appreciated. Again, that's not a weekly show, but we will be doing that. And oh shit, look at Naja. She won Nasty Wednesdays. She is wilding. Mike done gave her ammunition. Going to the roll call, throwing on the minute freaking outro. We out of this bitch. Everybody enjoy your holidays. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Have a happy new year. Drive safely. Rick, thank you for the support and love on Patreon and being a family member. Naja, same to you. Gary in Texas. Jemmy, I still don't know who's Jemmy's real name. What's Jemmy? Is Jemmy Rod? Who's Jemmy? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Neither Dave C.
Jimmy want to do a female boxing Wednesday.
Okay, well, we got to vote. We're going to do a poll. We're going to take the best topics or suggestions, and then we'll do a poll. Then we'll see which one votes the highest for Wednesday. I like Prospect Wednesdays. We'll see, does that win? Dempsey, shout out for, roll call chat. What up, what up? Mike Gross, why you in the chat, bro? But
I'm always in the chat, homie.
Yo,
I'm moderating.
Let me throw mine out there real quick. I had an idea that each of us would give like a story about boxing. Like, we've covered a lot of fights. We've, been to a lot of, weigh-ins and stuff like that. And we all have like experiences with certain fighters. Mike's cool with certain people and that's cool with certain people. And we all have these really cool stories that we don't get to tell. And I think a lot of them are really good and funny. The only problem I would see is that like some of them are probably shouldn't be said about some of the fighters, but we could change names and do stuff like that. So if y'all like that idea, definitely vote for that idea. But we got some good stories, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we just gotta come up with names for all those so I could put them in a poll and get the vote on, man, and go from there. All right, so I just refreshed on Patreon. Actually, no, it's still refreshing. We're at 24%. All right, so we're on a standstill, but that's also good. We're not decreasing. So
we were at 23, weren't we?
It's Christmas time, homie. You gotta wait now, man. People have been spending money all willy-nilly.
Whoa. Why would you cut me off to pitch a narrative that I was not selling? I said we're at 24%, which is good. At least we didn't decrease. Like, yo.
No. I'm saying it's good, but it's always gonna get better.
Yo, Mike.
It's always gonna get better, man. You gotta give it time, man.
Bad guy, what's up with you, bro?
Hey, man. Why you?
I want smoke.
Why you feel like the bad guy now?
Come for you, B.
It's like you say, if you're not a sheep, don't feel like a sheep.
Oh shit, Jimmy is Jose. What's up, Jose? Hell yeah, let's get high together. Where you from? Fuck, as long as we talking about weed, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs. Instagram, Twitter, @NesGTO. Happy holidays. Do say catch us back sometime this week. I'm pretty sure Wednesday, but you never know. Mike is just as you know, we be bored, man. We might turn it on, right, Mike?
You never know what can happen.
Man, make sure you subscribe. Make sure your Patreon is all up to date, so you get that back call in case we go on Patreon. Might be a Patreon only. You know,
tomorrow.
Who knows? We just don't know. You look.
Oh man, come on, dog.
You're not on call. You're not on call. You know what I'm saying? But you know how it is. It's like, you know, me and Mike.
Listen, I'm down tomorrow. I already told you. I just like, man, it's kind of like
concrete. Nothing is concrete. You don't know. Over here, it might even snow. That's how Christmas be on this part. We don't know. So, you know, and like I said, I'm not gonna be here. So, but yeah,
maybe something later on today though. Hopefully we do something later on today. I'll come up with something.
This was fun. Check you guys out. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Arrivederci.
Peace.